Hello and welcome to today's BoldTrail Academy. Alex Dyer here, as always, with my co-host Steve Hilliard.
Howdy.
And welcome to today's session. We're going to go over the marketplace today. The marketplace, and really what that means is I'm going to show you how to spend money. Spend money in BoldTrail. I know that we all want to keep our desk costs down. It's something I'm always very aware of, and that's one reason why I chose KV Core BoldTrail is because I didn't want to pay for another third-party CRM. And so we had this tool sitting there when we joined 4 years ago, almost five.
A little over three, actually.
And I said, hey, let's go use the BoldTrail. Let's get our agents using it because it's there. And that's why we're here today. But I'm going to show you how to spend money today. That's what I'm going to do.
But before we teach you to spend money on the BoldTrail marketplace, we do want to offer you all the free lead gen sites that we offer all of our agents. So we can jump on the New Vision site. That'd be something we
So let's jump in and we'll start taking a look at what are we going to start with? BoldTrail Academy on YouTube. You guys aren't on YouTube. As you can see, I post these sessions there. But the best place to get it is here on the school platform, and I'll post the link in the chat. You can go into classrooms, and this is our 13-week series that we're in right now. So if you've missed any of the previous weeks, you can go in, catch them there. Just real quick question out there. We just spent 2 weeks on blogging. I showed you how to create 90 content ideas. And then I showed you how to take each one of those 90 content ideas and turn them into a blog. And then last week, we covered what to do with those content ideas. Just real quick in the comments, how many people have done this? How many people have executed and blogged at least once? It's pretty quiet out there. Pretty quiet out there.
I know the agents that I'm coaching on Tuesdays are starting to blog
a
couple times a week. I'm real proud of them.
You guys, it works. It works. And I have switched over from Grok to Claude. And with the Claude AI, it becomes even more critical that you're constantly updating your website, showing that your website has activity and that you're creating new pages. And that's really what the AIs want to see, is that you don't just have a static website. So it isn't just about me giving you tasks to do. There's a much bigger purpose to this. And so I encourage you all to blog, and that's why we spent 2 weeks on that. And so I'll put a link to the join school. If you're not in school, I'll put it in there. I do want to highlight this Cabo right here. So I've gone through with Cabo, and I am summarizing each one of the speakers that were at Cabo, and then I'm creating links to them. So Carrie was in there, and I go through and I summarize this, and then I create all of these links that she references in her talk. This is available. I'm making it a paid-for thing because it takes me a lot of time to go in and do this. I'm not done yet. I think I have another 6 to go. I do this for myself, Steve. I really do, because when you sit there at Cabo and you're in a conference for 4 or 5 days and you're just listening to one speaker after another, and they just have all of these nuggets, all of these just amazing things that you want to go and execute on, like Carrie Save, she's creating entire ecosystems to run your real estate business while you're sleeping, while you're vacationing, while you're out doing stuff. There's no way I could sit there and take enough notes and remember it. And this is why I'm doing it. So I'm doing it for myself, and I'm sharing it with you, but I am making it premium content. If you're interested in it, it's in the classroom, and it's Cabo right here. Let me know what you think. Just throwing it out there. I am on Facebook as well. And that's where I post my notice of meeting and all the links to get in and everything. I get good engagement on Facebook with the notice of meetings. Jumping over to the New Vision site, and this is what Steve was referencing. Within New Vision, we have Gary has built this out. It's under what is it? Team?
Resources and marketing.
Yeah, so resources and marketing.
First tab.
Right here under the hub. And this is really cool because it brings together really important links that if you're new to EXP and you want to do a 90-day startup, it's there. But really what we wanted to highlight are these lead generation tools. And they've gone through and given you links to all of these third-party lead gens that you can sign up for. Steve, explain a little bit more thoroughly.
So running a large team of agents that does hundreds of sales a year, we get the opportunity to just experience successful lead platforms. And then you get to experience the ones that aren't successful. So what we've done is we've compiled the best lead sites that we use, and we're closing 10 plus deals a month from these sites. So they're very effective. And what we're asking agents to do, we're going to show you the marketplace on how to spend money, and that'll work very, very well. But this is where a lot of you should start. Get signed up on these. It's free and it's paid at closing. We also have down below a little bit further the ones that are very effective that are paid for that are not in our marketplace. So you just have them at your fingertips, and we ask everyone, grab them.
Yeah.
Grab them and use them.
Yeah, so it's all about lead generation, but even more importantly, it's all about lead follow-up.
That's right.
The phrase that I didn't really understand thoroughly until I got into this position I'm in now is it's not about the quality of the lead. It's all about the quality of your follow-up. So if you are out there involved in a lead gen and you're all bummed out because you're not getting conversion, come and visit Steve. Come visit myself. I'll sit down and evaluate your BoldTrail, and I'll look at what your lead follow-up matrix is, and I can make suggestions so that we can turn that around.
Yeah, and if you'll just visit the 12-week program, that's where you guys start. If you're looking for accountability, and our team site at the top, well, right there too, there's access to the resources and marketing. This is the Facebook page, but go up to the resources and marketing tab. Right there, go up top. And then the bottom, there's the link right there. And it'll talk about what we do on this 12-week program. It's a rolling 12 weeks.
Yeah.
This, if you're looking for accountability, if you're getting leads, you got to call them.
Yeah.
So this will focus you on 4 days a week, 1 hour for each session, where you're with other agents and you get it good at calling your leads. Yeah. That's what this is all about.
Holding yourself accountable is huge in this business. As realtors, we can always say our schedule is dynamic and flexible. That's just another way of saying that you're flaky. So, let's hold ourselves accountable and really get on the schedule. Yeah. All right, let's jump in and we'll get going on what we're looking at here today.
And I see a lot of new guests, and I want to just welcome a couple wonderful people. I just saw Kiana. I think I see you there. And let me see who else. Naisha, thank you for joining us. We had a great meeting this morning. Just want to welcome them and all the other lovely faces we see here. And please, if you're new as a guest, click the link in the chat when it's there so you can get your free membership to the school platform. Like Alex said, it will be a pay platform shortly. So get in before it's paid.
Exactly. All right. So I'm here at the dashboard, and what I want to feature today is the marketplace. So you go over here to the menu on your left, and you go down to marketplace. These are all of the additional add-ons that you can purchase to enhance your platform. So I'm working with agents. We good, Chuck? Good, Chuck. Give us a second.
Log out. All right, very good.
I apologize. There.
All right. Sorry about that, guys.
3 times.
Thanks, guys.
So within the BoldTrail, like I was saying, I work with agents all across the country at this point and with other brokerages. And what I'm finding is that we have a lot of features included in our BoldTrail that are add-ons with other agencies. And I didn't really realize this until I got into the position.
Yeah, we have the
now.
pro platform. There's no question.
really
This
do.
is the hot rod platform.
And if you were a KV Core user that merged over to BoldTrail, you have some features that new agents that are just onboarding don't have. So I just want to make that distinction out there. Look at the number of different add-ons that you can have. It gets a little bit overwhelming to get into this. One that I'm looking at right now is Fellow, and I'm talking to Fellow right now about coming in and doing a session with us in the BoldTrail Academy. What Fellow is doing is they're taking your database and going in and comparing it to social platforms and giving each one of your contacts a score based on their social activity. So if they're out there in social media talking about remodeling, talking about moving companies, talking about moving, selling their home, whatever it is, Fellow gives you that score and then cues you in and says you need to be contacting these contacts in your database. So I'm looking into that right now. ZBuyer is a lead gen site. The list goes on, and there is new ones in here every day. I mean, I looked in here to prep for this presentation today, and I was like, whoa, what is that one? What is that one? The thing I've learned about these is that typically they're month to month, which I think is something to point out as being a cool feature, because a lot of times when you get into lead generation with some of these other platforms, they'll lock you into a 1-year contract. And you'll get into it, and then you'll be like, well, wait a minute, this isn't really working for me. Why is there streaks on here?
I know someone has a program that's running a line on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, you might point out the property boost and the property boost motion. I've never seen the motion one.
Yeah. So the property boost is the one that I use most frequently. And Steve and I have this concept of digital domination of your farm, and property boost is one of those features that we use to really execute on that. So when you go into property boost, you can do this with any listing in MLS. And you type in the address and you go through a boost. I have several videos on how to boost a property. But basically what it is it's a Facebook lead. And the motion is that now they'll do a carousel of the property photos.
That's cool.
It is cool. I've done some A/B testing on it, and I don't see any increase in leads with the motion.
Okay.
Just my own experience, but you do you. Leads 360, there's been some mixed reviews on this as to the effectiveness of it. I think it really depends on your market. Smart Social, I have tried. Again, I went into month to month on Smart Social, and what it does, it basically posts real estate related content to your social platforms. I did this for a while, Steve, and the content was just very generic. And I think that we've evolved as real estate agents. I heard the other day that as realtors, you need to dedicate 50% of your schedule to creating content and posting on social.
That's overwhelming.
It's kind of depressing.
We're going to show you how to build your sphere of influence through CRM training.
Yeah. So that's Smart Social. I've done Nosy Neighbor. It's a mixture of 3 different types of advertising. It's social, it's email, and it's print advertising. Really cool. The voicemail drops. I've never tried the voicemail drops personally. I think they're annoying. How many of us have gotten phone calls from numbers? You pick it up and there's nobody there, and then you get a voicemail.
I know.
It's
it bothers me.
I'm not really sure I like that. So like I said, I've gone in, I've used a lot of these. They do have coaching. I've been on calls with Inside Real Estate about peer coaching, and really what they're trying to do is reach out to agents that don't necessarily have the level of support that we give. I think in our market, in Brent Go's office, in the ecosystem that New Vision has created, if you're looking for peer coaching, go join the 12-week challenge.
Please, you're gonna find a lot of success. Just to tap on that,
Yeah.
we tripled their agents' productions that are now part of that system. So it's really effective and it's really basic. You just have to meet with people that are accountable to, and you call.
That's right.
You call, you set appointments, and you get better each day. So would Property Boost be a good place someone might begin this journey?
So let me just finish going over this before we get into the granular details of Property Boost. Vanity domain. Any agent out there, I'm going to say this to everybody. I don't care if you've been in the business for 10 years or 10 months. You need to go have your own website. You have to have your own email. If you're using an EXP email address, you need to stop. You need to brand yourself, because what the AI searches are looking for is your own branded content. You know, if you're out there using the EXP email address and the EXP website, you're advertising for EXP, and you're your own business person. So I can't stress enough, go get your own vanity domain. There's also a bunch of email implications behind that that affect deliverability. If you're using the EXP email address to try and communicate with your client base through the platform, 90% of your emails will end up in spam. So it's really important that you embrace the vanity domain. I've done several videos on that. This presents really cool feature that present. It has pre-formatted listing presentation, buyer presentations, general presentations. I will say I have that as part of my platform because I was a KV4 user. Some agents won't have that. It'll be a paid for. The smart number is another one that I have personally. The smart number, just to give you an example of it, if you go over here and go to phone, this is for me, it shows all these different phone numbers. And you'll see that I have my own right here.
And if you don't use a smart number, what's going to happen is your cell phone's going to get banned pretty quick.
Well, it's not only that, yeah, you have that as well. But if you're using it to do, if you're using the phone number in the platform to do lead generation, there's no guarantee that lead generation will come back to you if you don't have your own smart number.
That's right.
So important that you use that. And these are things that I pay for. The smart number I think is $30 a month, and the vanity domain's $11, just to have it hosted, and then whatever you pay. Like I pay GoDaddy, and then I think it's like $500 a year. But I've had my own website. Funny story. 30 years ago, when I got into real estate as a lender, this internet thing was just like happening, you know. And so I went out one day and I'm like, let me see if I
Were
can
we watching black and white TV too?
not quite that. The remote controls were still like, but anyway, I went out and I was like, I'm going to get Dyer.com, because obviously it's my last name. Well, they had already been taken. So alexdyer.com was available. So I took it, and I've had it this whole time. And now that the internet has evolved to the point where we have all of these security protocols, I now have this super seasoned approved website domain. And I didn't, you know, way back when, we didn't really even think about it. But today, if you're an agent new to the business, getting into it, or 10 years, go get your own website, man. Get your own email address, and because you just never know what's going to happen. And I know that there's people from 30 years ago that are still emailing me, because my email address has always remained the same. It's never changed. Back to the point at hand. Premium campaigns are in here, handwritten postcards. The list goes on and on. These are all places where you can go and spend your money to add on to your platform. And in my experience, most of these are month to month. One thing that always bugs me about this industry, I get probably 10, 15 calls a week from companies saying, hey, we got great leads. We want you to buy them from us.
Only $2.99 to set it up.
Yeah. And how much a month?
Oh, well, we'll get to that later.
Yeah. And is there any guarantee of performance? The question I have for all of those companies, if your leads are so good and double verified and so on and so forth, why aren't you closing them? Why aren't you closing them? You know, if they're so good and you can make $10,000 per transaction in our market, why aren't they closing those leads? Well, there's a reason. There's a reason. Yeah. So always be careful of those. MailChimp integration, Google Sheets integration, the list goes on and on. What I encourage you guys to do is really understand where you are as an agent in the market, and then evaluate each one of these tiles that you see in here to determine which one of these might work for you.
Yeah, and I'm going to give you a little cautionary tale. I'm a big Ferry podcast. I listen to him every morning, Tom Ferry, and some of the best possible information, hottest, most current stuff. They did a great interview, and I'll give the guy props. He's in El Dorado Hills, Chris Wolf.
All right.
Don't know him, but I'm going to get to know him. But the talk was amazing because he asked him what he was doing. He's an outlier. He's someone that does extremely well. 14 months into the business, 500,000 in gross commission. So what is he doing? Well, he asked the different things. You doing email campaigns? He goes, no. You doing text campaign? No. Are you doing this? Yes. Doing this? Yes. And he had a couple very specific things he did, and all the other stuff was sort of shelved, and he was crushing it. So what the message is, you can't do all of these tools. Find your lane and get good at that lane. My lane originally was the open house model. I've perfected it, I crush it, and I can teach anyone to crush it. You look at these, if you do every one of these, I think you'll have failure. But if you pick a few, become excellent at it, that's the message.
Yeah, my experience is that you need to understand what your lead gen lane is. You know, if you're into cold calling, you're going to do cold calling, but you're also going to do 2 or 3 other things. I think that realistically, to be productive in this market, you need to figure out what you want to do, what's within your capacity, within your personality, and then choose 3 or 4 different lead gen activities that you do on a consistent basis and stick with them.
Yep. Consistency is really the key.
Yeah, that was always my struggle. Is I would start something, I wouldn't see results in 90 days, and I'd be like, this doesn't work. Well, it takes time. It takes time. I'll tell you, databasing, all the business I have right now is all referral business.
Don't you have a new listing?
I do have a new listing.
Well, how much is that listing, by the way, big guy?
I have a $5 million listing.
Nice.
Yeah, if you're looking for a 10-acre horse ranch in Newcastle with a 5,000 square foot main home, 1,100 square foot ADU, pool house, pool, barn. I mean, it's a beautiful property. But that came as a referral.
Nice.
I have another $1 million listing right now. It was a referral. I just closed on a transaction last week, $850 sale price. It was a referral. I have another closing. If I can get my loan officer to get the loan done, sorry, Pitt. That'll close in the next 2 weeks as soon as I get docs out, right, Pitt? But all of it's referral business at this point because I have gone all in, and every Friday at 4:30 I send out my newsletter. I post my video on YouTube. I do all these activities, and a large part of the reason I do all this is because I show up to the EXP events and I take my notes, I engage, I do my summaries, like the Cabo event. I mean, there were so many nuggets at Cabo, but they all require you to take action, stay committed, and be consistent. That's really what we need to do to be successful. And so each one of these tiles here, I don't want to get off too much on a soapbox, if they fit into the lane that you want to go market in, go check it out.
Yeah, please check it out. And we always coach agents. You got to pick the first lane. How do you make money right now? How do you get a commission fast if you're getting started? Pick that lane. And then I encourage agents to pick 2 additional lanes. One is mandatory, which is the BoldTrail.
Yeah.
And that is something you develop over time. And your farming, you develop that over time. So don't jump into the money later activities expecting to get commissions right away.
Yeah.
So if you start doing your BoldTrail training, it's mandatory for next year or 6 months from now. It will help you improve your business, but find the lane to get people in front of you right now. And that's calling them. That's open houses. That's walking neighborhoods. Those are some things that are proactive where you can get in front of people right away.
Yeah. And if you need help trying to figure out what your digital farm should look like, what I advocate for is to figure out what your digital farm is. So mine is likely to move homeowners in South Placer County. And I've gone in and defined exactly what that is. And then when I see those properties come on the market, I'll go and do property boosts on them because they're within my wheelhouse. If there's an open house opportunity to do, I'll do that because what it does is it continues to build that domination of your farm within your BoldTrail CRM. And then when you have listings come on the market, I'll see if I can do a quick demo of this.
I'm so curious how we got these lines on that screen.
I don't know. It's interesting.
I saw them show up. I don't know how that happened.
But within this space, like we'll choose this Auburn property. If I'm in this Auburn property and I want to look at matching buyers, I do a lot of marketing up in Auburn. Let's see if this is going to work for me. Because I'm focused on that digital domination of the farm and focused on Auburn, this listing I have 5 buyers for. So this afternoon, when I get into my lead follow-up, I'm going to send this to those 5 buyers and say, hey, look, there's a new listing in the market that you might be interested in.
Now, those came from property boosts. So people ask the question, how do I get people into my CRM? I mean, I need to add some people. Well, these different methods, even though they're very small costs, will drive in 8, 10, 15, 20 people into your database, and it'll start to communicate with them. So if that's a lane you want, pick it, stay consistent.
Yeah. A good example of how this works, 19 minutes ago, Terry here is looking at this property. She's a property boost lead that came in. She's been looking at property forever. She's just waiting for rates to come down. Last week's been kind of rough on that regard. Anyway, that's what I have for you guys here. Not a whole lot of detailed instruction in using different platforms. I just wanted to point out the marketplace and where you can get those additional add-ons.
Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it. And I want to point out to everybody, to best embrace this platform, why don't you go up to the learning portal and give them a little guidance on how they can, step 1, what would you do?
Yeah, so this is how I learned how to use this platform. I went over here to this training tile. This is available to everybody. If you're new to the platform, or maybe you've been using it for a couple of years and you want a tune-up on it, you go into the learning portal, and this is where I learned how to use this platform initially. It was the Agent Quick Start Guide right here. What I did was I would watch it on one computer screen. I would have the platform up on the other one, and I would go through and do what they were doing. And that's what I recommend you do. So that's what I have for you guys today. If you need help with your BoldTrail, I'm doing several setups right now. Sometimes the IDX feed is giving me a little bit of problem on the setup. But if you need help setting up your BoldTrail, I do have a service where I can go in and do that for you. Or if you're in BoldTrail and you don't know quite what to do, I'm getting that response quite a bit. Hey, I got my BoldTrail set up. I got my database in here. I'm not really sure what to do now. Reach out to me. I'll help you out with that. So that's what I have for you guys today. I'm going to go ahead and close this out on the recording.
Hang around.
Come back and take questions.
Put your questions in the chat or take yourself off mute and go ahead and get ready to ask some questions.